Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a repair job that, let's just say, did not go according to plan. What was supposed to be a simple fix turned into this high-stakes battle of wits against one single, incredibly stubborn component. You know, the story starts out like any other day for a technician, a routine job. But as you can see from this quote, that initial expectation, that turned out to be a massive misjudgment. What looked like a quick fix was about to become a huge headache. So what are we talking about here? The patient on the operating table is an ACOM 12000S. This thing is an absolute beast, a high-frequency power amplifier. Its whole job is to shout really, really loud. But all of a sudden, it could barely even whisper. So what went wrong? To figure that out, our technician had to put on their detective hat and follow this trail of electronic breadcrumbs deep, deep into the guts of the machine. Okay, so first things first, diagnosis. And in this case, the symptoms weren't just whispering, they were screaming. Everything was pointing to one single catastrophic failure right at the very heart of the amplifier. And I mean, just look at the scale of this failure. It's staggering. This amp used to pump out 1,200 watts with just a little bit of input power. Now, you have to crank the input way, way up just to get it to limp along at half power. Something was definitely seriously wrong here. Well, the investigation pretty quickly zeroed in on the main culprit, the LDMOS transistor. The best way to think about this is like it's the engine of the amplifier. It's this tiny little chip, but it has this one huge responsibility, creating all that power. And sure enough, a direct measurement confirmed the worst. You see, one of the two gates that basically control the transistor was totally dead, short-circuited. The most likely cause? Probably got overdriven, hit with too much power, which essentially blew a fuse right in the heart of the machine. All right, so problem found. The solution should be simple, right? Just swap out the broken part for a new one. Easy peasy. But that's when the real challenge showed up, a massive, totally unforeseen obstacle. It turns out this tiny little transistor wasn't just screwed into place. Oh no, it was physically bonded, soldered directly onto a huge solid block of copper. And let me tell you, that is a technician's nightmare.
This is just a classic case of a feature becoming a bug, right? The copper block or heat spreader is brilliant at its job. It's designed to suck heat away from that tiny transistor to keep it cool. The problem? It also sucks all the heat away from a soldering iron, which makes a simple repair completely impossible with normal tools.
So, with the front door completely blocked, our technician had to get creative and find a back window. The plan they came up with was, well, it was unconventional, pretty daring, and believe it or not, it involved a trip to the kitchen. Look, this wasn't just a repair anymore. This was major surgery. The entire amplifier module had to be taken apart. We're talking every screw, every circuit board. Then the whole copper block had to be heated up to this insane temperature, over 300 degrees Celsius, just to melt the solder. And you have to do all of this without completely destroying the brand new, very expensive replacement part. No pressure.
And this is where it gets really interesting. This super high-tech problem met a surprisingly low-tech solution, a regular old electric kitchen stove. Yep, using its built-in thermostat and a handheld infrared thermometer, the technician could precisely and carefully cook that massive copper block to get it right to that 300+ degrees Celsius mark.
But think about this for a second. Once that solder melts, the new component is literally just floating on a pool of liquid metal. So the technician had to manually guide this tiny little part into the perfect position and then hold it there perfectly still with a pair of tweezers while the whole thing cooled down. I mean, we're talking about the steady hands of a surgeon and the patience of a saint. And success here hinged on getting a perfect, complete bond. Because any tiny air gap, any little bubble would act like an insulator. It would trap heat, create these little hot spots, and guess what? It would kill the brand new component all over again. You get one shot at this. Okay, so the new transistor is in place. The high wire act is over. Phew, but the job was far from finished. See, the new part wasn't just a replacement, it was an upgrade, and that meant the rest of the amplifier had to level up with it. This new, more rugged transistor needed more juice to run. We're talking a full volt more on its gate just to switch it on. So what does that mean? It means our technician had to go back in and perform more surgery, this time on the control circuitry,
swapping out other components just to get the voltage right. So after putting the whole thing back together again, the technician then had to spend hours carefully tuning and testing the amplifier. They even added this clever quick fix modification to balance out its performance. So yeah, that original 1-hour estimate, it had completely exploded into a full-day marathon of intense precision work. So the repair was a success. Fantastic. But it kind of begs a bigger question, doesn't it? Why do these super powerful, really expensive, and supposedly robust components fail like this in the first place?
Well, it really boils down to 3 main culprits. First, excessive temperature, just running way too hot. And that's exactly why that giant copper heatsink is so critical. Second, excessive drive power, basically hitting it with too much input, which is the likely suspect in our story today. And third, excessive voltage at the output. Think of it like a sudden spike, like what you'd get from switching antennas at the worst possible moment. And this really highlights why efficiency is so important. I mean, you can't overstate it. When a transistor is running in its sweet spot, it can generate 330 watts less waste heat. That is a massive, massive difference. It can literally be the deciding factor between a nice long life and a very premature, smoky death.
And you know, as if this repair wasn't already hard enough, there's another villain in this story, the market itself. A key manufacturer is actually getting out of the business of making these high-power transistors. The result, a supply shortage and a price that has skyrocketed. We're talking a 5-fold price hike for this one part in just a matter of months.
So what started out as a simple 1-hour job ended up becoming this incredible testament to technical skill and perseverance. But the story of rising costs and the sheer complexity of this one repair, it really hints at a much bigger challenge. And it's one that faces not just electronics hobbyists, but really all of us. This really heroic repair forces us to ask a pretty tough question, doesn't it? As our technology gets more and more complex, more specialized, are we losing the art of repair? In a world filled with devices that are basically designed to be replaced instead of fixed, are we just forgetting how to fix what's broken?